Hello everybody, welcome back to some Fallout 4. Picking up where we left off, or back in, I haven't done anything like building or anything. I didn't even assign them jobs, I just kind of left them there and ditched them. But with the civic access tunnels open, we're going to head down here. Now, I don't think, apparently there's pieces of a raider that fell through the ground, but anyway. I want to say there's some mirelurks down here or something, but overall there isn't like a huge amount down here. There's gonna be another magazine down here, and that's more or less the only unique thing. I think we can get another fusion core or something as well, which once again, it's one of those things that some people count as a collectible. I personally don't, but I also don't use power armor, which is its main usage. Yeah. So that's chained up because you can actually come here from a different direction. My sawed off. Did I accidentally? I did. I accidentally put my. Oh well. Okay. There we go. I think it may have already been dead, and if I'm being honest, because I didn't actually get any experience. But God, I can't believe I fucking put my shotgun away. Oh well. But yeah, like I said, some people consider that like an important item to find, but those people also probably use power armor, and since power armor slowly drains the fusion cores, obviously as you use them, it then does become significantly more important to find as many of them as you can. You can, ow, fucker. Oh, that wasn't even what I thought was going to be down here.
Hey.
Um, there is also a laser Gatling gun that you can get later that uses fusion cores. This should just lead around. This should be the door that was chained up. Yeah. But I won't be using that either. There's actually a glitch, exploit. I don't know. I guess it's a bug, if anything, where if you manage to get, I think it's the laser Gatling anyway, with the right legendary modifier on it, which I think
Got it.
is the infinite ammo one or something, or it's the one where you don't need to reload. Oh yeah, also these are Vault-Tec lunch boxes. They contain random crap inside of them. Whenever you find one, when you open it up, they'll be like the little yay, and you'll get something. You can get a couple useful things out of it, and if you really want to, you can duplicate them the same way that I was duplicating those books. Uh, to keep opening them and trying for the good stuff that's in them. But even then, the good stuff that's in them is still barely stuff. Like, I think you can get Nuka-Cola's, I, I'm trying to crouch, by the way. Whenever you see that pop up and then immediately go away, that's because I'm attempting to crouch and failing. But there's, I can't remember. Yeah, there's a Gatling laser modifier, and I think it's the one where you don't need to reload. Um, and when you get that, you actually get infinite ammo for some reason, because like of the way it works. I think you still have to have a fusion core in your inventory or something, but we'll pop up here just to show you where it comes out. But the reason why this is, yeah, see, so you can, this is actually back in Concord down one of the alleyways. And yeah, as you can see, not hugely noticeable as, the fact that we never noticed it. But the reason that door is chained is so that you can't go in there because that's where the deathclaw is supposed to be. Whether or not the deathclaw is actually waiting there, I'm not sure. I'm reasonably certain that it spawns in, uh, and it isn't just sitting there, because otherwise it would, like Mama Murphy said, be attracted by the noise of the gunfight with the raiders and that, and pop out like the first time you get there when you don't have power armor, you don't have anything else. So Mirelurks, as you can imagine, not the best things in the world to fight. They do, actually, if we can use this, they do have weak points. So their torso is weaker than their shell, obviously, and their head is even weaker. You can cripple their legs and their arms, but it's not super useful. Now, as you can see, I do have a crit, right? And if there was even 1% on the head, because a crit, if you use it, is a guaranteed hit. Like, you can't miss on a crit. So if you can get at an angle where you have even a 1% chance to hit, it does not matter. Now, that alone is one of the reasons why there's a perk you can get. I don't know if we can get it yet, though. I think it's under agility. It might even be like down lower. Oh, I think it might be this one. Penetrator. In VATS, you can target enemies' body parts that are blocked by cover with a decrease in accuracy. We're actually going to buy this right here. Now, as you can see, that says there's no decrease in accuracy. We don't really need that because I never use it for that. I just use it so I can target stuff through it, because then I use my crits and just obliterate. Obviously, it requires you to have a crit saved up, but as you play, since like you fight a lot of raiders and other stuff, like there's very few things that I'll actually bother to use a crit on. Ooh, see, we got a plastic spoon out of that lunchbox. There's a lot of times that I'll have them, that I'll have one saved up and can just use it whenever I feel like. There's certain enemies that I use it on more often than others. Okay, that's the way we went up, right? Right, this led to the ladder. Yeah. Like, for example, sentry bots. The big-ass robots. If you have the penetrator perk and a crit saved up, you can actually target their fusion core and blow them up with one shot if you can, if you hit it. Well, not if you hit it. If you have the crit saved up, you're guaranteed to hit it. Okay, apparently he's using a wooden spoon to eat a cereal. But yeah, them super mutant suiciders, if you can catch them from a distance and you can't see their the mini nuke they're carrying, because well, I mean, you'll see when we run across them, they just run at you and blow up, but you can shoot their mini nuke from a distance. And not only, and especially if they're around other people, it's great to do, because then they'll generally kill the other people. So here's our magazine, Taboo Tattoos. Permanently unlocks a new facial tattoo. It actually unlocks an eagle. I don't know if that's the tattoo or not. I've honestly never gotten them, because they're on your face, and I don't really care for face tattoos. I can understand why they made it so that all the tattoos are on your face, because you don't really see any other part of your character, because even if you're not using power armor, you're still generally wearing some kind of clothing and armor. I guess you don't necessarily have to wear clothes. Well, no. I was gonna say very few clothes actually give you a bonus to anything, whereas it's the armor that you put over top of it. But I guess there are some clothes that give you a bonus. Oh look, a toy alien. More duct tape. Also, if you're wondering, because like I know at the end of the last part, I was storing all my stuff and separating it and whatnot. If you're wondering about the stuff I'm putting in the box next to the, oh, that's what I forgot to do. Next to the workshop, that's generally stuff that like I use to decorate with, and that's why I keep it separate. Because even if you put it in the workshop and you don't break it down yourself, okay, so this is where the other one's right. Okay, I didn't even realize it was right there. Even if you don't break it down yourself, if you're trying to build something and one of the junk items in the workshop has the part that you need, it'll automatically break it down. Which, once again, if you don't care about like decorating in that, which most people don't, I realize that I'm kind of the oddball on that one. Oh, how do you get up there again? Run, jump. Yeah, there you go. Because then you can just go in there and hit store all junk and you're good to go. Unfortunately, since I'm weird and I like to decorate, I don't do that. I guess I don't. I was gonna say I wonder if I got any, because I think the fusion cores are in here. So yeah, as you can see, this one has a charge of 50 out of 100. This one's a full one. I don't know. Did I pick up a fusion core? Oh no, wait, there it is. There it is. There's the fusion core. For anybody who cares. All right. Now I know last part I did say that we were going to go and do Abernathy Farm, but I realized that we actually do have another quest that we can do. Data, I think. Miscellaneous quest to talk to Sturges. Back in Sanctuary, and since we've cleared out the civic access now, we'll head over to Sanctuary. And now this here is just your standard, like, build up, like, explaining the settlement mechanics to you. Which I've already explained most of them, but...
Sturgis.
You willing to do some work?
What kind of help do you need?
Well, for starters, we could use some real beds. We've been sleeping on the ground for too long.
I'd be glad to help.
Okay, good deal. Just make sure we can sleep with a roof over our heads. Some of these old houses still look solid enough to do the trick. There's a workbench over there you can use. Give me a holler if you need anything.
Yeah, so if you didn't... So yeah, as you can see, it says build sheltered beds. Sheltered is a relative term. It's generally if there's a roof over the head. Now, me personally, I wouldn't consider this all too sheltered. Like, if the rain is still going to get you, how sheltered is it? But yeah, no, not this house. This isn't a good one for that. Like I said, I generally build I make a couple of them bunkhouses, and then, okay, this should be fine. We'll throw it down here. Oh yeah, so whenever you get a storm like this, brings in a lot of radiation, it is a giant pain in the ass. Also, I do much prefer to use these beds, even in settings where they don't make quite as much sense, just because, as you can tell, this is the head of the bed. Whereas when you do the other ones, like even the sleeping bag, you can somewhat tell where the head of the bed is because it has the zipper. But then, like, you have a mattress, no idea. You have this one. I think the taller end is the head. This one, you have no idea, and no idea, and no idea. I mean, it's kind of a pain, but you do what you can. So yeah, as you can see, our bed situation is what's worse because they don't have, because we have 5 people and we had 0 beds. We got 2 now, but that's obviously still not enough. There we go. Nice and tucked in there. What? I don't know why you're there, but whatever. 2. This will make 3. But yeah, so every settlement needs obviously a right number of beds for how many people you have. And then to go along with that, you also need as much food as people and water as people you have. Now, the water is no problem. It's very easy because you build the pumps and you're set. Looks a little tight, doesn't it? But whatever. Um, Whereas food, though, on the other hand, it's not as simple. Well, it is and it isn't. Like I'm making it sound like it's complicated. It's not. You plant food and the people will harvest it themselves and then they eat it. But the thing with the food is very few. Like that's why mute fruit is so good. Is because for every mute fruit plant that's being harvested, so each. Got enough beds? Yeah, there we go.
Sturgis.
I like it. Having a place to sleep will improve everyone's spirits. What we need now is a reliable source of clean water.
I'm on it. Clean water coming up.
Great. Thanks again.
Now, thankfully, this one, because I already built the 2 pumps, we're good on that.
Sturgis.
I feel better already, knowing we have a reliable supply of clean water. I hope you don't mind me asking for some more help, but our food supplies are running low. If we're gonna settle here, we'll need to get some crops established.
What kind of crops are you looking for?
It doesn't much matter. Potatoes, mute fruit, corn, whatever you can get to grow.
Okay, so as you saw there, we're only at 20% for food because I don't have much. Why does it want me to talk to Mama Murphy? Do you have like seeds or something?
Mama Murphy.
Sanctuary. I knew you'd join us here, kid. Your energy is tied to this place.
I used to live here. A long time ago.
But the distant past ain't so distant for you. I saw you leave that icebox. This whole world is like some bad dream you can't wake up from, isn't it? The sight can help you, kid. It always has answers. Just gotta bring me some jet so I can see what it wants to tell you.
Okay, so
What's jet?
It's a little inhaler that packs a big kick. They say it makes you move faster, but at my age, it's more of a quick rush. The chems fuel the site, so it's not always gonna be jet I'm asking for. But that's what's on the menu this time.
Maybe. Let me think it over.
Well, ain't like I'm going anywhere. The site will be here when you need it.
okay, so I'll go over this now because we won't be doing it for a while. Well, technically, we won't be bringing Jet to her period, but if you bring her Jet, she will actually help you out, depending on what point of the
It's not raining.
main quest you're in. It will she'll actually give you different information, and her information is in fact accurate. Also, settlers will assign themselves beds. You can assign them beds yourself if you want them to sleep in a specific spot. Otherwise, they'll just take whatever bed is already free. They will also assign themselves to farming in that as well. Let's see. I don't know why they all have quest markers. I guess just because they're settlers, but I don't think any of them will give me food.
Hey, do you have a moment? I wanted to thank you for helping us out in Concord. If only we'd run into you sooner.
What happened to you guys?
Long story short, we've been on the move since the attack on Quincy. There used to be more of us. My son, he's gone.
That's awful. No parent should have to lose their child.
No, they shouldn't. I just keep thinking, maybe I could have done more. Anyway, thanks again.
So yeah, that's Junlong. This is Marcy.
Let's trade.
Oh, okay, and then she. Okay.
I just need to trade gear with you.
Yeah, so this is your normal settler interaction. You walk up to them and it just opens up inventory.
I'm missing so much.
Yeah, these guys specifically will walk around and repair stuff. Not that anything ever actually gets fucking repaired. But yeah, if we go into food, you'll see what I was talking about earlier. So every settler, when assigned to farming, will harvest, I do believe it's 6 plants. It might be more. I actually, now that I say it, I'm pretty sure it's more. But they'll harvest like 10 plants or something, right? But most plants produce 0.5. Oh, look at that. I actually got corn from somewhere. Will produce 0.5 food. Also, they have like weird fucking hitboxes. So, like, as you can see, like the corn's barely moving, but it'll plant that way, but not that way. Let's just go to the other corner. There we go. So obviously, like, let's say they do 10, one settler can only produce 5 food. But when you get better food, like, see, as you can see, melons only produce half, gourds, corn, razor grain, like everything produces half a point of food, except for mute fruits. They produce one solid food. So obviously, having uh, 10 mute fruits produces, you only need one person to produce 10 food, and if you have 20 mute fruits and 2 settlers with them, that's even more. So as you can see, Marcy Long here, actually, if we look at her, it'll light up all the plants that she's harvesting. So like she's producing the 2 food, because they don't show you half of food. So like technically she's producing 2.5 food, but obviously they can't show that. Well, they could, they just don't. But if you go up, you can always harvest them yourself. Well. So even though you harvest them, they'll still get the food. Even though they harvest them, once it's grown, it will always be there for you. So you know what? Let's. Can I get it so that it's actually in the planter box? Thanks. Put that one there. And we'll just plant some more melons. Go. And I actually would like to move this one over here as well. And then we can just have melons over here. Unfortunately, I think that this stupid fucking bush out here is probably gonna ruin it, but oh, you know what though? It might be. I do believe that I always had issues with this anyway. Trying to like move the plants, like I always had to store them. There we go, that's more or less in the planter. That actually works good. Now, like I said, the hitboxes on this food is stupid. There's no good way to say it. The hitboxes on the food are retarded. Now, unfortunately, so are the people harvesting them. As you can see there with Marcy, she's outside the greenhouse harvesting it through the wall because that's where the marker for the NP for the settlers to harvest is from. So they just kind of have to do it. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can get 2 gourds on one plot. You can't get 2 melons. Melons are a giant pain in the ass because they're so big. And you know what? In all honesty, I'm thinking of planting these out here just to. That's not on. Okay, you want to fucking touch the ground? Why are you floating? Stop floating. Fine. See now, and I'd put them up against this wall, but then they're probably just going to fucking go out there to harvest them. So maybe I'll. But yeah, I think you can get 2 gourds if you plant them right on one plot. Not that it looks great, but they're there. What is our food up to? 4. Oh, God, I really wish we had meat fruit. I don't remember if you can make it go faster. But yeah, so as they whatever you have planted, as long as you have farmers, they'll actually harvest it and put it in the workbench for you. So like anywhere that you have producing food, if you go into the workbench, it'll be under aid. Now, unfortunately, we don't ever we have lots of food in here, and the thing is, they don't actually eat. Like none of the settlers actually eat anything. You just have to be producing enough food. I'm trying to think because while doing these quests, it'll probably won't be doing another quest. I guess we could still head over to Abernathy just to unlock it, and because Abernathy Farm, as you can imagine, is a farm, and we can harvest a bunch of plants from them. So I think we will, and then you can get a little view of Abernathy. Because yeah, unfortunately, you find wild mute fruit all over the place, and it's so fucking annoying because it's all over the place. I think it's there's some right here, but you can't use that to plant more mute fruit, and I don't know why. But yeah, we'll head over to the farm. Oh, see, and same with this here too, right? Wild Tato Blossom. You get a Tato flower, so I actually don't know what a Tato flower does, but either way, it doesn't let you plant potatoes. Now I don't know if they're called Tatos because they're different than because they're clearly grown like tomatoes and they're red, but they're called Tatos. But yeah, so this is Abernathy Farm. As you can see, they have a lot of potatoes. Which thankfully they don't mind if we harvest. So we're gonna harvest the fuck out of them. But yeah, like I said, I keep this place a farm. I don't bother uh, putting more than one settler here. But we'll go more over that next time. They also have this cow that kind of pisses me off just because you can't move it. And I think it even has a name. Target it. Yeah, it's Clarabelle. Okay, and then I think they have more planted back here, but it might just be more melons in that. Yeah, I have a little melon patch back here. I fucking hate the melons. You have no idea how much I hate melons and gourds in this game. Just because they're such a pain in the ass when it comes to farming. They take up That, oh, there's a blowfly over there. They just take up so much space and still only produce. They take up so much space. The hitbox on them while trying to plant them is ridiculous. So you can't plant them close to like anything else for some reason. And then to top it all off, they only produce half a point of food. They are without a doubt the worst food option in the game. Whereas mute fruit, like I said, produces a full point of food. And then on top of that, not only does it produce a whole point of food, you can actually plant them rather close together. Like you can actually plant them pretty close together, which is nice. Oops. But yeah, we'll go and put some potatoes in. As you can see, you have like the two different potato plants. I honestly don't know why there's two different ones. I don't really know the difference between them, but either way, yeah, I really don't know the difference between them. But yeah, here we go. We should be able. I want to say that you can plant if you get them real close to the edges. I think you can plant 9 of these in a single plot. Oof, that one could go back a bit. The whole plot, just the plant. So yeah, I like to try and get these like near the corners and the edge. That one's real close to the edge. And then I basically just try and make like each plot a different food. Because while it doesn't matter what you plant, like you can have just all melons, all potatoes. The settlers don't complain. Why would they? They didn't go out and get them. You could always have just left them hungry and cold and outdoors. There we go. But yeah, just so that I have some variety. I mean, I don't use them or anything, but it's just nice to have the variety like shown, you know. So like we'll get carrots and other shit as well, and I'll fill up the greenhouse with different things. But
Hey, Sturgis.
This place is starting to feel like home. Now that we can grow our own food, I think we can really make a go with this. Trouble is, the more we establish ourselves here, the more of a target we become. What we need is to get some defenses set up. Then maybe Preston will be able to relax a little bit.
he will not, by the way.
I'm on it.
Ah, thanks. It'll make everyone feel more secure here.
Okay, so as you can see, defense is already done. So if we go back into the menu, like I said, so you have your population on the left there, which is 5 for us. Then you have your food, which is 6, because I think Marcy's the only one farming right now. Jun and Mama Murphy might go and join her now that there's more plants. Your food needs to equal your population. Your water needs to equal your population. Your power just needs to equal whatever you need power for, but it's usually a good idea to have power because it does affect their happiness. Now, from what I understand, your defense should be the equivalent or higher of your food and water combined. Now, that's supposed to affect how often you're attacked, but I don't know that it actually does, and I don't know if like your power needs to come into it as well. But in between this part and next part, I'll finish setting these guys up. I'll give them all weapons and everything
Sturgis.
just to
Thanks for doing
keep
that.
everything
Well, I'll
safe.
sleep better at night knowing we have some defenses set up. It's been a long road. But yeah, I think this is it. Home. Feels good.
What next?
Well, I guess figuring out how to get back to living instead of just surviving. Of course, you know you're welcome anytime. My door's always open to you.
You don't have a
Windows,
door.
too.
I didn't give you one.
Some of the walls actually come to think of it. I guess I better get back to it. Take care now.
And there we go. Completed Sanctuary. Now, one thing that I would enjoy is if having them here actually did something. So, like, okay, dog, stop. Well, actually, we need to find. There he is, Codsworth, who can also farm, by the way.
Mr. John, welcome back, sir. I do hope you were able to find some assistance in Concord.
You could say that. I made a few new friends.
Can't have enough of those these days. I realize that I'm no Mr. Gutsy, but if needed, I'd be honored to accompany you throughout the Commonwealth. Just say the word.
Yes, of course.
As you wish, sir.
So yeah, you can only have one
Don't worry,
companion with you at a time.
Your master is in good hands.
And then you can stay here. Codsworth tolerates you. The fuck? I don't remember that ever coming up before. I think that has to do with our
Codsworth,
relationship status. He's not very happy that we left him.
your thoughts?
I wonder what Diamond City will be like. If the name has anything to do with it, it must be quite nice.
How do you feel about us?
Well, things could always be better, sir. It would be nice to see you back to your old self again.
Nothing
Okay,
else
so
for now.
All right, then.
we're gonna take Codsworth with us because there's a couple different ways to raise relationship status with companions. And right now we have access to Codsworth and the dog doesn't have a relationship status because it's a dog, so therefore it just automatically loves you. Codsworth, on the other hand, even though he's a robot, should also love you, but does not. But anyway, every X amount of time that you spend with your companion, I don't remember how long it is, will raise your relationship with them by like 1 point or something. And then there's certain actions you can do, like for example, for Codsworth, um, creating like upgrading a weapon or piece of armor will increase it. I think that one's a love for him. So you have likes that, so it'll come up like Codsworth likes that or Codsworth loves that. If they like it, it goes up. I'm just gonna say 1 point, but if they love it, it goes up by like 2, right? And I think it might actually be like 5 and 10 or something like that. But either way, once their at certain points in their relationship, they'll want to talk to you, and certain companions will have quests involved with them as well. And when they talk to you, you can say whatever. That's how you end up in relationships with them. I don't think it particularly matters what you say. There might be certain things that you can say to them that will potentially raise your relationship more. But until you have that conversation with them, their relationship won't go up at all. So like, let's say you get to 20. Let's say we get to 20 points with Codsworth, and he asks to talk to us, and we ignore him. We can play the game for another 100 hours. He will not gain another point in our relationship, um, because we haven't had that conversation with him, and it isn't like saved in the background. So like, uh, we play for another 100 hours, talk to him, have the conversation, and then he immediately wants to talk again. It doesn't work that way. Now there are other ones that have specific quests involved with them, and until you do the quest, which a lot of them, well, I don't know about a lot of them, which some of them, at least one, will have multiple ways to end the quest. Um, you can actually change what they like and dislike. So Kate, my favorite companion, who we'll get later, um, she's basically a raider, I guess you could say, or as close to a raider as you get until we actually go into the Nuka World DLC. Um, and she's all about the drugs. And then her quest involves you getting her to gives you the option to either have her stay like that, or you go do this. I don't remember if you have to get to the end of the quest and then make the decision, or if you can make the decision before you do the quest. But then at the end of the quest, you can get her free of drugs, um, and that'll actually change. So, like with Mama Murphy there, if you have Kate with you and you give her drugs, she'll like that. But if you give Mama Murphy drugs after you've done Kate's quest and got her off the drugs, Kate will dislike that. So now the reason why I said that we're going to leave Mama Murphy for now is because if you give Mama Murphy drugs too many times, she dies. Once we get Kate though, and we get her off the drugs, we can then convince Mama Murphy to give up drugs, and then that'll raise our relationship with Kate even more. Um, so yeah, that's how that works. But with that, we've cleared the Civic Access Tunnel. We did Sturgis quests, which go over a little bit more of the settlement building that's in this game. And I've spoiled a couple of quests for that are in the future. But Kate's quest, quite a ways in the future. Now, here's the thing, right? The way we did Skyrim is I kind of just like did all the quests that were like in a city and then filled in the blank spots, right? Like went to the locations that we didn't have a quest for. We're not quite going to do it that way this time. Right now, we're just basically going to expand out from Sanctuary. And the reason why we're doing that now is because not only do we have Codsworth, once we go and do the 10 Pines Bluff quest, we'll be able to have Preston as a companion as well. Now, I think I've told you this before, but when a companion reaches max relationship status, you actually get a perk from them, and then we'll get rid of them. So we'll walk around with Codsworth for now, doing stuff. Once we get his perk, we'll trade him in for Preston. Once we get his perk, though, if we haven't got to a point where we've unlocked another companion, I will then specifically advance a quest or advance a plot line. Because there are 2 companions, well, 3 if you count Preston, but technically you don't have to get Preston and these guys out of Concord. You can ignore them completely. But there are, I do believe, 2 companions that you have to do the main storyline to get. I mean, technically there's more because of the way the main storyline works. You have to work with one of the factions. So I guess technically there's at minimum 3 that you'll get by advancing the main plot. But then there's also a few that you can't get. Like Kate, we can just go and get her. Strong is a super mutant that we get. We can just go and get him. That actually, and then yeah, that might actually be it. And then the rest you have to do at least partially do the faction quest lines to unlock the rest. In all honesty, but that'll be it for this part. I'll probably end up doing quite a bit of building and such, and upgrading the settlers and everything in between parts, so that we can get started. So yeah, next part we'll probably do Abernathy Farm and quite possibly 10 Pines Bluff. We might do both. I want to do Abernathy Farm because I do enjoy building up that, or remodeling, let's say, Abernathy Farms. 10 Pines Bluff, there's honestly a good chance that I'm just going to kick both the settlers out of there. Like, I'm just going to, like, take one and be like, hey, you go here, you go, like, I'll send one to 10 Pines, or not 10 Pines, one to Abernathy, make them a supply line, send another one to Sanctuary and make them a supply line. Just to get them out of 10 Pines, because as long as there's settlers at a place, it can be attacked. As long as there's settlers at a place, you can get alerts that, like, oh, there's not enough beds, oh, there's not enough food, there's not enough water, something's wrong, whatever. So I might just get them out of there, because like I said, 10 Pines Bluff is honestly, and you'll see it when we go there, it's a worthless fucking settlement. There's most of the settlements, I'll say, at least have some value to them. Design wise, 10 Pines Bluff though is just so worthless. But that'll be it for this part. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you next week for more.